this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, welcome to Get It Right Texoma, everybody. We are so happy to have you join us once again for another episode of our podcast from the MacTech Solutions Podcast Studios in Wichita Falls, Texas. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
So thrilled to have you. Yes. I'm Mike Hendren. It's Terry McAdams, Trey Sralla, the trio here with you once again. We are, again, very pleased to have you. It's brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls since 1966. Eddie Hills Fun Cycles.com. MacTech Solutions, 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B here in Wichita Falls, MacTech-Solutions.com, and Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, LPSweet.com, the website, and on Facebook, Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop. So welcome. Glad to have you here. We got a lot to cover and a little time to get there. The Wichita County Mounted Patrol Rodeo.
The Rodeo.
It's
rodeo in Texas. It's rodeo if you're in Los Angeles.
Yes, Rodeo Drive.
I've been on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's crazy. I mean, you just look at it, it's just so gaudy. I mean, everything is just like so over the top.
Not all it's cracked up to be. Is that what you're saying?
It is. It's amazing, but you just is like there's. I mean, Macy's doesn't even make it. It's too low rent. You know, I think.
Well, that's a whole other topic there. What's happened to retail, man? Come on. That's coming up, by the way, May 31st and June 1st. Again, Wichita County Mounted Patrol Arena is located here in Wichita Falls on FM 369, also known as Arena Road.
It's actually, is it technically outside of Wichita Falls or technically it's in Wichita County?
It's in the county. I think it's just outside the city limits.
Yeah, it's basically almost kind of between part of South Wichita Falls and Iowa Park.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
The mounted patrol part of it. What's the
mounted patrol? They're mounted. They're mounted on horseback.
But who's the mounted patrol?
It's an organization. It's
Okay.
an organization, and I think it probably goes back to the old West days when you actually had mounted patrol that patrolled your city or patrolled your county.
Okay.
Back during because we were real close to Indian territory back in the day, and you would have citizens that would mount up and they would patrol the area, and I believe that's where the name came from.
I think the Wichita County Mounted Patrol, I think, was kind of founded as sort of a fraternal type organization back in the 1940s, I want to say.
Ago, yeah.
And then they started the rodeo, I think, in the 50s. They had the Red River Rodeo that ran for decades every June, and they kind of got out of the rodeo for a little while, and then they relaunched it as the Wichita County Mounted Patrol Rodeo a few years ago. It's been through various incarnations.
Yep.
In 1957.
Wichita County Mounted
later
Patrol.
than I thought.
Yep. And,
Dr. Ted Alexander was one of the original founders.
Yeah, Dr. Ted was my physician at one time. Yeah.
But I think, like I said, I believe the terminology goes back to in the old days when you had farmers and ranchers and things like that would get together and they would just patrol. Yeah. They would mount up and they would patrol, especially if you had Indian incursions that came in.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, there's a book called Empire of the Sun Moon. Empire of the Sun.
Uh-huh.
There's Empire of the Sun, and it's about a lot is about North Texas and about the Indian. It's pretty brutal. And I listen to audiobooks.
And that's the one that focuses a lot on Quanah Parker. Yes. I actually have the book. I haven't read it in several years, but I have the book.
It's pretty brutal to read.
Empire of the Summer Moon.
Yeah, Empire of the Summer Moon. But I'm listening to it right now on audio.
Well, Michael Mitchell, if you are watching this, hopefully you are, you should do an episode if you haven't already on this.
On Mounted Patrol.
Yeah, it's been great on them.
Suggestion.
Another entity, Backdoor Theater, is another longtime entity in Wichita Falls.
Yeah, they're improv coming up June 1st, September 21st, November 2nd.
Which, by the way, Sam Pack, who you probably just saw in another episode, he's part of that improv troupe. He's not there all the time, but Sam and I would go to rehearsals together, and we've actually performed together in the improv troupe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are you involved in any of this time?
Not right now. I'm still on hiatus. I got so many things going on right now. I just don't have time to put into it. But I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to go and enjoy yourself, it is adult.
Yeah,
it's R-rated.
It's 21 and up, basically.
Yeah, so You will hear some words that rhyme with duck.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and some adult themed.
If
But
you're
it
easily
is funny.
offended, it's probably not for you.
There's a lot of really good local talent, though. And these are all local people. But if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Where they say everything's made up and the points don't matter. And that's the thing. Everything is made up. And it's made up on the fly. And it's really good. So
Yeah.
if you have a chance, go check it out. And all of them are at the main stage. So you can get your tickets at backdoortheater.org or whatever it is. Google search that.
Yeah.
But there have 3 more shows this year. But June 1st is the next one. And the tickets are it's going to be at the main stage.
Awesome. Let's see here. Do we have any other events that we're talking about? Or
we're
we're
scrolling down to
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. We
Yeah,
got
scroll.
new tools here. New
the
toys.
new teleprompter. I'm trying to read
There
that
we
out
go.
as well.
there we go.
Okay. What's our first story there?
Panama.
Oh,
Panama.
Panama.
Yes.
Okay. So we kind of skipped over this last couple of weeks here because we've had this on the radar. Well, last couple of shows, but we just haven't had a chance to get to it yet. But President-elect Jose Raul Molino of Panama vowed to shut down a crucial migration gap through Panama that has been used by more than 500,000 migrants over the last year.
It's the Darien Gap is what it is, yeah.
5 times the number of people in Wichita Falls.
Yes, if that puts it in perspective
There
for you
go.
locally.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Terry.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a way to put it in perspective.
Yeah, 500,000 people. It signals a shift in the country's policy as the U.S. continues to battle a crisis at the southern border, according to a report from Voice of America. Panama and our Darien Gap are not a transit route. It is our border, Molino said, quote unquote, according to the report. Now, this is significant because here you have the leader of another country vowing to do something to get this crisis under control while our own federal government sits here playing with their cuticles and twiddling their thumbs and doing squat.
Or with their thumb up their ass.
Yeah. They're not doing a damn thing to help this situation. But here you've got the leader of Panama, or the president-elect of Panama, saying, we're going to fix this. You've got a leader in another country basically saying, hey, we're going to help you out.
Well, it's not just that, though. It's helping themselves. They
Well,
realize
yeah.
what goes – look, on this whole migration, these poor immigrants who are just migrating because they want a better life and stuff like that, the unbelievable atrocities. Talk to people who know.
Yep.
Women are raped. Children are raped.
Yes, sir.
Sex trafficked. I mean,
It's
you talk
horrible.
about the drugs. Forget about the drugs. The human toll. And then when people get here, because now they owe the cartel something, now they can turn them into whatever. They're their slaves. They can make you do whatever they want because your family back home is on the hook for it.
The human tragedy here is not poor people who are just coming for a better life. That's not the human tragedy. The human tragedy is what's being done to them while they're on the way, as Trey just said, and once they get here, and what the cartels are doing, and what's happening by us not taking a proactive stance against this. And our own
And we're
government,
allowing it.
We're
promoting it.
We're encouraging it.
Yeah,
we are
it's
enabling it. We are enabling it, and we are creating a much larger human crisis down the line. The problem is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And I keep hearing people, and in the political arena especially, talking about deportations. Let me tell you something. You can sit here and deport people by the bushel basket all damn day long. Until you fix the problem, you don't fix anything. Yeah. You've got to get the border physically under control. And until you do that, deportations are almost a moot point because you still have the revolving door. They leave, they come back. They leave, they come back. And then you've got the criminal element. And I don't care. Look, if you listen to me on the radio for 22 years, you heard me say this over and over again. I don't give a damn if it's 1% of the people coming into the country illegally who are criminal or 15%. It doesn't matter. When you have people criminally coming in who are criminals, I'm talking about gang members, I'm talking about I'm talking about whatever. Criminals coming into your country, rapists, child molesters, murderers, whatever, coming into your country, unfettered. They're coming into your country and then disappearing into the ether. And we don't know, and a lot of these people, we don't know where they are. We don't know where they're living.
No, this isn't Rhode Island.
No.
This is the United States of America. This is a massive country.
They literally
there's a lot of empty space. There's a lot of urban places that are highly populated.
Yes,
people
sir.
can disappear like crazy.
And there are people in this country who are enabling their escape into this country.
I mean, look at the A-Team. They disappeared into Los Angeles.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Underground.
Yeah. If the A-Team could look, if a black dude with huge chains and 3 white guys, one of them smokes a cigar, and they all drive around in a crazy, well-distinguished van. If they can disappear into the underground, surely somebody in a pair of Dockers and tennis shoes can disappear.
I finally got a chance to say this. If you have a problem and no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Yep, there you go.
I've been waiting 40 years to say that.
You can die now.
All right.
Yeah. Life fulfilled.
Love it.
Children, marriage, and all that, but now my life is fulfilled.
Oh my gosh! Let's see. Where are we moving on to here? What's our next topic?
High school tours.
The new high school tours.
Yes.
Now I haven't had a chance to tour one of them yet.
I'm here. That's what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm reporting.
Okay. All right.
I toured one.
So which campus did you tour?
Toured Legacy.
Okay.
It's not as far along as Memorial is. There's not a lot of furniture in Legacy right now.
Yeah.
Memorial they're putting furniture in right now. That was the main reason I went to Legacy, because they're still doing a lot of stuff. It's more finish work. Mm-hmm. The hustle and bustle is not quite as hectic there right now. Mm-hmm. And walked around with Donnie Lee, the superintendent, which, by the way, he will be in with us in July. He'll be back in with us on this show.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And if you've ever seen the Career Education Center, mm-hmm. it's the Career Education Center amped up.
Yeah. On steroids.
The building is phenomenal. The way the building is built is phenomenal. The learning, the way that they'll be able to incorporate learning into the building is phenomenal. Large open spaces, better for safety, better for security, better for learning, better for collaborative learning, which is important. The libraries, the old days of the library being this massive room that was almost always empty, it's not that way. The library is kind of in the main hall now, and it's movable books and that sort of thing. So they're utilizing all the square footage, and that's to me that's very important. Is we're utilizing the square footage, and then let's talk about the athletic facilities. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I know people go to school for academics, and I get that, and I'm that way too. I was always academics first, but athletics are important. And let's be fair, there are kids that would not go to school if it wasn't for athletics. Yeah. So it does help keep kids in school. Yeah. The competition gym is phenomenal. It's the whole vibe. I mean, the pride that these kids will feel. Like I said, one of the most touching times I was ever on the school board is when we opened Scotland Park in Southern Hills. Mm-hmm. And when I saw the kids walk into those schools and their eyes light up and the pride they felt about this is my school, I think that's going to happen. And I would encourage all taxpayers when they do start public tours, which I believe will be in late July, I encourage all taxpayers in the WFISD, go look at your school. Go look at what you've invested in. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, it's moving, it's phenomenal, and it's going to up our game in Wichita Falls as far as a lot of things go. We've always had good teachers. I've said before, most of the teachers in Wichita Falls, there's bad ones, let's be fair. But most of the teachers in Wichita Falls could teach in a barn if they had to. Mm-hmm. But why not give them the right space to do it? And then also that's encouragement for the kids to want to go there.
I do know when I went to the Career Education Center way back, what's it been now, 5-6 years ago?
It's been about almost 10 years ago.
It's been all that long?
No, 8 years ago. I've been off the board 8 years, so probably about 7 years.
7 or 8 years ago when I walked in, and it was 95% complete when I saw it. But I walked in the door, and the first thing I thought was, where was this when I was a high school?
Oh, exactly. It's amazing.
Where was this when I went to high school?
You'll see that. Well, but part of it was
I was blown away.
The technology wasn't there. The nice thing about it is we have people that are experts in building and designing school buildings, and we actually have a guy. Huckabee is a national company, but Tom Lewick is from Wichita Falls. He went to school with us. He was a senior at Hershey when we were freshmen. Yeah, and he is the head project manager for Huckabee Architects on these schools. Yeah. And it's so great to have a Wichita Falls kid. I was in Boy Scouts with him. I mean, I know his family. Yeah. A Wichita Falls kid who's highly involved in helping design these schools. and it's just they're phenomenal. It's a great. It's a great thing to see. It'll be a great thing for Wichita Falls. And another nice thing about it is not just for the students of Wichita Falls. It's going to be better for the taxpayers because these buildings are going to be much more efficient. They're going to be more multi-use. The other thing it's going to do is this: when we talked about attracting businesses and attracting people to come to Wichita Falls, your high schools are a big part of it.
Okay, so sidebar. So now we have a high school called Memorial. Mm-hmm. We have a stadium called Memorial. Mm-hmm. I think we need to change Memorial Stadium's name. I think we need to rebrand the stadium.
I'm not a fan.
To be a reflection, more of a reflection of kind of a not really neutral ground so much, but something a little more.
But the reason Memorial Stadium is there is it's a memorial to fallen people, to our armed forces, and there's statues, there's benches, there's all kinds of stuff out there that are memorial to our armed forces. That's why it's called Memorial. And
I think there are ways you could still honor that, but also rebrand it in such a way that it's more encompassing. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on that one.
Well, so what's the memorial name for the new high school?
Yeah, why do we pick Memorial for that?
I don't know. I wasn't involved in that. I don't know. I wasn't on the school board. Yeah. And
because we do seem to have a weird fascination with Memorial around here.
Memorial Auditorium, Memorial Stadium.
I don't. Well, Memorial Auditorium is also it was actually I think dedicated to World War I. Am I correct about that?
Civil War,
we should consolidate
World War I. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, but I'm just thinking though that the Memorial Stadium, kind of going along your lines, is that maybe we should consider, because how many people, truthfully, I wonder if there's any statistic or any tracking. I don't imagine there is. People go to Memorial Stadium to go look at that memorial.
Oh, it's probably fairly small. I totally agree. So it's probably a fairly small group of people that do that. And there's probably a fairly small group of people that know why it's called Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm completely dead set against it. I would need to be convinced because I want to be sure. I want to be sure that we are honoring the people that it was originally designed.
Absolutely, and I don't think we would just do away with it.
No. I'm not suggesting we do that.
And I think there should be I think maybe a relocation even. I don't know, something. Get the spirit and get it maybe recognized better now.
I just don't want to see that
if
facility, because that facility is for the entire ISD's use. Right. It's for all the schools. All the schools have some connection to that in the city. I don't want to see people thinking, oh, well, that's Memorial High School Stadium. No, it's not. It's the ISD stadium.
Unless you called it Wichita Falls Athletic Stadium at Memorial High School, or at Wichita Falls Athletics at Memorial High Stadium. I don't know.
Yeah.
There may be. Of course, the field is Joe Golding Field. It's named after Joe Golding, who was one of the prominent coaches and athletic directors in Wichita Falls. So
yes.
I don't know. I'm one of these people. I'm not like everything else. I'm not going like drawing a line and saying, well, I'm not that way. But I'd need a little convincing, and I'd want to see a branding.
I'm not saying Joe Golding is necessarily qualified for sainthood, but he's damn close. All right. So anyway, U.S. Congress, crazy exchange, AOC outrage on another's behalf. What exactly is this all about, Trey?
Well, did you guys see the exchange? Oh, if you hadn't seen it, you got to pull it up.
I missed it.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's kind of the lightning rod for the Republicans,
to put it mildly.
Yes. She goes in, and there's some back and forth exchanges, and basically what happened was, there's a Mrs. Crockett, who's from Texas. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia.
How apropos is that? Crockett from Texas.
There you go. She makes some sort of comment. You need to go look it up, but she makes some sort of comment about, does anybody in this body related to something to do with the judge of Trump's judge? And I think there's some story out there that Trump, the judge in Trump's case's daughter, is somehow related to somebody in Congress type thing. Okay. So anyhow, Crockett says, along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing here, Crockett says something along the lines of, "Is that what this? Do you know what we're here for? Is that what we're here for? Do you know what we're here for?" And Marjorie Taylor Greene says, "Of course I know what we're here for. Maybe those fake eyelashes you have that is keeping you from knowing what we're here for."
Oh, okay.
So then, and this is what pisses me off about people. So this is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mrs. Crockett. I don't remember her first name, but Mrs. Crockett from Texas. Taylor Greene makes a negative comment about Crockett. AOC jumps in to be the savior. Now, first off, and so AOC jumps in and she goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want her words taken down. I want them stricken. And Marjorie Taylor Greene jumps back. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? And then AOC turns Ginny on the block. Oh, sweetie. Oh, child. Oh, baby. No, you don't talk about people's physical appearance. So, and then you got James Comer. So now you got a middle-aged white guy in the middle of this going, huh? And can we get the floor? Can we get the? It's really it's crazy to watch and think that that's really our Congress. So then, and actually, I think the funniest thing, Mrs. Crockett had the funniest line. So AOC jumps into Marjorie Taylor Greene on behalf of Mrs. Crockett, which, by the way, don't talk on behalf of other people unless you need to, because, like for instance, if there's a woman and you're a dude and another guy and a man attacks a woman, you need to step in. Yeah, you need to step in. Okay. But if a woman attacks another woman, and you stay the hell out of it. Yeah. They're equals. They may not be equals, but they're kind of on equal level. If you see an adult jump on a child or attack a child, well, then you step in, because now you're evening the playing field. But when you have two grown women that are both representatives of our government, they're completely equal on the same playing field. Mm-hmm. You don't jump in on somebody else's behalf and get outraged on behalf. Let her get outraged. But the funniest actually line was Mrs. Crockett. She asked Representative Comer. He's the chairman of the committee, and she said, "So let me ask you. Let me clarify this statement." And this was clever on her part. She said, "So if somebody was to talk about somebody's bleach blonde, butch, bad built body on this, would that be tacky personal?" Obviously talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh. And Comer goes, "Do what?" Or what? He didn't understand. He didn't get it. It's comical. It's sad, but it's comical in a way. But the worst part about it is AOC jumping in when she should have kept her nose out of it. Oh. That was between Mrs. Crockett and Mrs. Greene. Yeah. And AOC wants to jump in, but then AOC like, I want to da. And then she turns into, like I said, the old Ginny on the block. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn or the Bronx or wherever the hell you're from. Oh, sweetie. Oh, honey. You ain't gonna. It's like, look, it was a fiasco. So if you haven't seen it.
So it almost turned into British Parliament for a few moments. So
and actually, I think there's times that it probably needs to be. I hear people say we don't need that in our Congress, and I'm like, sometimes we do. Yeah. I'm not against. You probably shouldn't get physical. Probably. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe things would change. Maybe people would change their minds, change their tune if there were consequences.
Well, you know what?
At one time there were consequences. Maybe at one time you had to be careful because you might end up in a duel.
Yeah.
It's happened in Congress.
Yeah.
Or you might end up in a fist fight in Congress.
Well, maybe I'll be kind of like a hockey game. You know, you go to a hockey game and a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
Know?
And it's okay. And everybody fights until you hit the ground. And as soon as you hit the ground, then the fight's over. Yeah. And that way nobody really gets hurt. So that's the whole point behind it.
So we just need officials in there in striped shirts so they can pull them apart once they hit the ground and yank them apart and make everybody go to the benches.
So if you get a chance, check it out. But the part of this was predicated on the one right before it. And I don't know if you guys have seen where the Republicans, a lot of Republican people in Congress are going to support Trump in New York. I'm against that. You're on the clock. I don't want taxpayers' money paying for your ass to go to New York to stand outside of a courtroom.
Okay, all right, I got that. But let me play devil's advocate here for just a minute. You have a former U.S. president who clearly is being targeted for political reasons.
Absolutely,
clearly being at this point. At this point, Ray Charles could see what's going on here.
I agree.
Okay, he's being targeted for political reasons. Period. You have a trial going on, a judge, a prosecutor, all of whom it would seem are conspiring here to keep Trump off the campaign trail.
Agreed.
I think the thought process here is Let's keep him strapped to this courtroom as much as possible. Let's keep him strapped to the legal process as much as possible. Let's forbid him from leaving and make it as difficult as possible for him to get on his plane and fly to this campaign stop and be able to be back in New York in time to be back in the courtroom on time.
It's a sham. It's a sham trial.
It's a sham.
Yeah.
And I think in these Republicans going to New York and showing their support, they are drawing some public attention to Trump that he otherwise misses out on by virtue of the fact that he can't be on the campaign trail the way he ought to be. Let's be realistic here. He's not campaigning like a guy who's running for office because he can't.
Well, but honestly, though, you said that, though, Mike. Most people don't even know who Mike Johnson is.
No.
So he's showing up in New York. Who's he drawing attention? No. I don't think those guys are doing anything. There's nothing they're doing. They're not helping anything.
The media is paying attention to them, and by virtue of the media paying attention, other people are seeing it, and that's the only. Now, if the media just totally ignored them, if the media was just totally ignoring this, and nobody was reporting, no cameras, no reporters, no nothing on this, and they're just showing up, then it is a total waste of effort.
But when you report to me, I go, they're wasting my money. So I'm telling you, it's having an opposite effect on me. I'm on the case. It's the same thing as when I pull down the road. And by the way, I've said this. I love law enforcement. But when I pull down the road and I see one car pulled over and 15 cop cars are behind it, that's overkill. Yeah. That's too much. Those are taxpayer dollars. Every car is being paid by the taxpayer. Every officer is being paid by the taxpayer. You don't need 15 people to pull over one car.
Well, now I will say this to that end. If you know, for example, we all see them. We've got interdiction deputies that are sitting all on I-44, 287. Yep. They know they've got a drug mule coming through town.
Yep, absolutely.
They know who they're looking for. Someone's ratted them out. They know what car they're looking for. They know who they're looking for. You pull this person over, and depending on the information that you've been able to gather on this individual, this may be a really dangerous person. Mm-hmm. This may be somebody that you need to throw a lot of law enforcement. So in that case, if there's a chance that dude's going to break out of the car with an Uzi and start spraying bullets around, I want 10 cops around this guy ready to level him out.
Too many. I disagree with you. I mean, you got guns too.
But just routine traffic stop, though, no.
Well, no. But
one or two officers should be able to handle that.
I still don't think 5 or 6 of them need to be there. I'm sorry. I look at it as taxpayer as a waste of taxpayer money. I look at this as a waste of taxpayer money. Look, I'm not saying that 2 police officers, you don't need backup. I'm not saying that. But I've literally seen 6 people at a stop. 1 car pulled over with 6 people. Okay? Unless there's 40 people in that. And by the way, you got guns. You have training.
Maybe it's a slow day.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. But
I don't know.
My point is, I go back to the same thing as I see this as you're using taxpayer dollars. I'm sure you're using taxpayer dollars to travel there.
Oh, sure.
You're on the clock. And by the way, you're pushing back business because that was one of the problems. And I agree with, this is where I agree with the Democrats for being upset on this. This hearing that this crap broke out in, I believe was scheduled to be at 11 o'clock. But James Comer and a bunch of the other Republicans weren't there till they went to support Trump, okay? So it didn't get started till like 8 o'clock at night. Okay, well, if I'm a Democrat and it's supposed to be there at 11 and you're pissing away my time with other people, I'm going to be pissed when you get back to
No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I don't blame them.
That's
so
wrong.
I think it's a waste of taxpayer money.
That is
I
wrong.
think they're pushing back time. Yeah. I'm not a friend. I'm not a fan.
That is wrong. So last thing here, Snooki's Restaurant Review, the Jerry Smith family.
Yeah, Jerry Smith, old friend of the radio show. Jerry Smith, Snooki's Restaurant is in Scotland, Texas. For years, there was a restaurant called Thad and Paisley's.
Yes.
They closed down for about a year. They've since reopened. Been there a few times. I had no idea that Jerry Smith was connected to it. It's Jerry Smith's daughter and son-in-law that own it. Yes.
Okay.
So they renamed it?
Yeah, well, it's a different company.
Well, Snooki.
But you said reopened, so I just wanted to reopened under a new name.
Yes.
Okay.
Reopened. It's a different restaurant.
Gotcha.
Not to be
it's the same building.
Not to be confused with the Snooki from that TV show.
Yeah. Whatever it was, New Jersey Shore or whatever.
Yeah, Jersey Shore.
But Snooki is actually Jerry Smith's wife's nickname, and so the restaurant is named after her.
We had a Snooki in like a great aunt or on my dad's side.
But I will tell you, it is and they're not paying us a nickel. It is damn good food. I mean, it is really good. They've put some money and some energy into that building, and they have a chef. Their head chef is actually from Wichita Falls. He went to school at Hershey. He went to school with actually my kids. He was at school at the same time my kids went to school. Right. Played football at Hershey. He's gone off, and I believe he's like a culinary. I think he's trained culinary chef, and he's come back and he does a great job.
What's the type of food? I mean,
they have a pretty big variety of everything, but they'll have their chicken fried steak is unbelievable. I've heard their fish is great, and the fish when I saw them doing fish,
you had me at chicken fried steak.
They were out there. You know, you have a lot of food service companies that deliver frozen stuff and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Well, I walked back there to say hi to Chef D one time and just say, hey, you remember me? Go, oh, yeah, Mr. Sralla. And he had a whole fish and was filleting it, a fresh fish. So, it wasn't like he was pulling fish sticks out of the freezer and laying them there. No, he was filleting. He was working a fresh fish. But they have they don't really have. I don't think they have anything Mexican on there, but they have great sandwiches. Their burgers are great. Their chicken fried steak is really good. Their Texas tornadoes. Their spiral cut thin sliced potatoes, and they have those twisters or whatever the hell they're called. But anyhow, you can get them with queso. You can get them with they call it debris. You can get them with either with bacon or pulled pork or something like that on them. Everything I've had there is great.
So you've been there multiple times.
Been there several times.
Okay.
All right. But I didn't know until this last weekend that it was Jerry Smith. It was connected to Jerry Smith.
Well, as Trey said, they're not paying us a dime to say this, but Jerry, if you're seeing this and you'd like to be a sponsor on the show,
there you go.
You know how to get a hold of me. Call me. I'll fix you up, brother.
And they also have brunch as well on Sundays. They have a Sunday brunch.
Awesome.
Snooki's Craft Chicken? Is that
Kitchen?
Kitchen. What'd I say?
Chicken. See, that proves that you're hungry right now.
Snooki's Craft
you
Kitchen.
need to eat something.
They're in Scotland, Texas.
You
Which,
need
by the
to
way,
eat something.
if you're from this area, if you're not from this area, if you don't know where Scotland is, it's about 15 miles outside of Wichita Falls.
Little community.
There's nothing there. I mean, there's one business there, and it's that.
The population is like 400 or 500 people.
You drive right by it.
Yeah,
they're not open on Mondays, just so you know that, and then they're or Tuesdays actually. Looking here, according to the
it doesn't look like. It looks like they're closed on
So
Mondays
they're open
Tuesdays.
Wednesdays through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Friday and Saturday they're open till 9, and then of course Sunday's
brunch only.
Well, and in
9 to
all
2.
fairness, a lot of their business is probably not from Scotland. It's from Wichita Falls.
Well, you can only have so much business from Scotland.
It's from the surrounding communities.
Even if everybody in town ate there every day,
Snookie'sKitchen.com. Just support a local.
Well,
it's wonderdaughter food. I mean, it really is.
Gonna have to go check them out.
And like I said, friend of the show, Jerry Smith, is his daughter and son-in-law, or I think it's who it is. They own the business. They don't live here. They own several businesses, and they live, I believe, in Arlington, but they run it here. And there's a local Wichita Falls kid who's a head chef, which is awesome.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed.
Well, there you go.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for Get It Right Texoma once again. Again, it's brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls, EddieHillsFunCycles.com, MacTech Solutions at 4020 Railroad, Suite 3B, MacTech-Solutions.com, and Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, LPSweet.com, and on Facebook as well. Just look for Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop. You'll find this real easy to do. And by the way, we do record this podcast every week in the MacTech Solutions Podcast Studio as well. So we thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, however you get the show, please go to our Facebook page, Get It Right Texoma. Go to our Facebook page, comment. We want to hear from you. We want to interact with you, and be sure to share the links with all your friends and family. Even those people that you don't like, share it with them. It's kind of a way to maybe just jab them a little bit. Anyway.
Especially they're ultra liberal.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thank you so much. Until next time, take care. We'll see you down the road, guys.